Blessings, blessings, blessings. Talaku, the great owl. Reasons right at the trail of life. We're on a little journey heading forward up the mountain today, right? And today, on my mind, we're going to talk about just general prejudices and how it basically destroys a lot of value within societies, within nations, states, within cultures. So weird that within our communities within Jamaica, you have so much division and prejudice that's based upon not necessarily ethnicity, as may be the case in a mixed modern society, but more cultural prejudice, economic prejudice, what we call classism. But beyond the classism, the cultural prejudice is like this. If you decide to become, let's use Rastafari as one of the most standard and basic mentality, right? We talk about as human beings, right? When you decide to become Rastafari, you become acquainted with rejection, with people cutting you off from the stream of what is seen as value and normalcy. One of the biggest negative I've encountered since I started sharing my designs. One person told me I was to go and eat some, pork. So weird when people want to insult you for just sharing something that you do creatively. It's like there's this utter disrespect that is meted out to certain classes, certain viewpoints, certain individuals who decide not just to be according to the stereotypical view that is given of what A or B or C should be. And it's like they're trying to suffer us for it. Women sometimes are heavily speaking about some kind of feminine prejudice that they feel from male counterparts and classist prejudice from wealthier women. People always try to find a way to separate themselves from each other and make themselves more unique, better, special, more dependent of love or attention than others. So how is in a society where if you want to dress according to an aboriginal, or cultural viewpoint, a lot of times you're isolated and people think you can't design clothing for more than just your cohort, your cultural group. I am certainly not limited to the perception rather of every Rasta man or every Rasta person thinks about clothing. So I couldn't speak clearly and say I do clothing for Rastafari. I do clothing for individuals who appreciate, just like this modified jacket, the kind of style that I have and that I create. And learning to do garments for yourself, you're learning like an old cultural tradition of making your own clothes, making your own clothing, even making your own yarn, linen from the flax seeds, right? We had our own grass straw. My mother used to weave baskets, right? So there was always a life and a culture around being an artisan for the perception of, and the process rather, of just being alive. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your needs. You had to learn to do it. Manual is the term that carries the instruction, but manually means doing it by hand, because all manual instructions are transferred to electrical and now to intelligence in AI. So the process of the manual, doing it by hand, still is the measure by which all things that is done is recognized. And one of the things about it is Prejudice comes in so many ways because a lot of these skills and talents don't carry a university degree with them, or some kind of great title with them, or something that people instinctively think deserve respect and honor. So such talents and skills as tailoring, dressmaking, as being, a creative artisan to do sets. I do all of those things, right? Creating sets, set design, and I send me all those things. Creating art, murals, I do all those things. Hosting events, acting, apart from my musical talent, all those things I actually, hallelujah, have under my belt, right? And apart from going through the hard times like any human being, I've been a pretty cool and reasonably successful human being. But even within that context, not signing up to the major guilds within your society restricts your abilities. So I've never been a guild member of any of these intrinsic guilds. Certainly the musician guild is the only guild I'm a part of, and I'm not in it that deep that you're gonna see me take oaths and orders and allegiances to anti-God things. So the prejudice is there where people reject you because you share the same things on the surface, but you don't share the same belief. So the prejudice goes deeper to the belief system, to what you really align yourself to. Because a lot of people align themselves with the dark arts, the dark science, the darkness of this world as a means to gain power. And when you don't go along with their game plan, you find out that you're difficult. They can't work with you. You're always a problem child. And you find that you are blacklisted. Or many such statements. It's kind of made about you, that you're difficult. And I've had all those things said about me. People prejudice you and say you're lacking in ambition because you won't, hallelujah, sell your soul, right? Pretending like they're harder workers than you. All the nasty, filthy things they will do, hallelujah, just to call themselves successful in the eyes of man. And they only use God as a statement when they're trying to appear as if they're still human beings to the rest of us, So we understand the game that they play. It's one of the hardest things to live in a society with people that appear like you but don't share your values, and you can still find a way to survive with them. But unfortunately, it's not so easy for them to find ways to survive with you. Because they got something to prove. Whose way is more? Whose way is greater? But they say greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. So we kind of begin to understand, anyway we say it, understand that the prejudices are based on light and shadow, mainly about benefit and value. Those of the dark don't want to see those of the light succeed. And if you believe in something that is respectful to creation and creator, it's hard. And so sometimes when you speak about things people don't want to hear. And even when you're doing your work towards harmony and value in such pursuits, people avoid what you're doing. You know what I mean? Pretend like they can't be of benefit. They can't hear you. They can't feel you. They can't agree with you in such a way as to put their money where their mouth and their thoughts are. In a lot of ways it takes a little money to care. It don't take all about money to care, but it takes a little money to care, hallelujah, because it's a part of a human expression. And especially how you deal with others as it relates to value shows ultimately the kind of life you want to live in this reality. So prejudice is a thing that makes people feel class oriented at a higher level, that I can look down on someone or someone can look up on me as having some kind of power or ability or a position or a place that they want. It offers a lot of shallow-minded people and even some good-intentioned people the sense of being important, hallelujah, which makes it really unbalanced. And then they promote prejudice as a way of life, so they will go about diminishing, disrespecting people's value just basically because they do not want their value to outshine the perceived place we put them in. And so, talents is a one beautiful way of showing a person's gift in God, but then people put people in front of your talent talent minders and handlers, and they control your talent, they control your ability, they steal the value of your skill, the gift that God has given you. So it's a double-edged sword a lot of times, this reality. But the faithful still journey on in confidence, knowing that the Most High will carry us through. And so to break the prejudices that ultimately have placated you and me into a limited status, and economically some of us aren't prospering, but spiritually we are prospering, spiritually we are growing, and it's only a matter of time when principle become form, and format and function in every sense. We just gotta hold steadfast to the truth. And I just want to implore many of you who know that you took your business ideas to the people that you thought could have aided and given you the kind of capital resource you needed to bring this value to the world. But it made you feel as if there was no value there, only to later on see somebody else with your product and your service and your idea made manifest and well supported by the same people, only to realize that they are amply aligned and you are not. And so the ideals just migrated upwards. And while they put it in that we cannot patent ideas, it's more than just the idea. Concept and end product has a relationship. And so an idea, though the very nature of ideas seem like everybody has them, but there's still something unique about ideas that are connected to the people who bring them into fruition. So we can't deny the original creators, though many people occupy our place and our position, and they're earning a living from our skills and our talents. And there are many people who know, even right here on YouTube, of many individuals who are suffering because their image have been expropriated by someone who they trust or someone who they believe had their best interest at heart, only later on to realize that that person is making themselves wealthy. As I said, they're growing a channel. They don't really care about you as a person or an individual. They're just growing a channel. And it's their channel, right? And you see how the value is lost. Your life become broken while their life keeps getting better, right? And that little Rasta man out there in St. Thomas, I won't call him a name, he knows what it's about. He's felt it. So we know how they deal with true talent and true value, how they exploit it and exploit the true content creator, right? Take your intellectual property and make value out of it for themselves and don't accredit you. It's a hard thing to go through, a cultural prejudice, even within your own ethnicity. For real. People think that you're too good to be so eloquent. Yeah? You're too gifted and talented to come from the bush, to come represent bush philosophy or make such type of people prominent within the iconography of cultural reality. They don't like it. Yeah? The cultural handlers and minders, yeah? The prejudiced soldiers against progress, they're there holding down the vanguards of control. The boule minds of the modern, terraforming our reality to an inorganic reality, immaterial reality, where they take God out of the equation. Hallelujah. But overcoming prejudice is overcoming your own fears and your own worries, to stand in your convictions, your belief, to be determined to bring forward your Christ-centered, God-centered gift. And talents to the best of your ability, regardless of the attacks. Wear them like a badge of honor, not a scar of shame. Life is an unfolding event. Keep at it, beloved. Don't lose your fire, your fervor, or your strength. Be determined. Get down on your knees and pray. Draw strength in faith. correct behaviors, adapt principles, live according to the divine way, and see Yeshua Mashiach's power and presence clear a path amongst all this confusion. Because if light had ceased, what reality would we have to inhabit and have our being? We give thanks to true, hallelujah, and living God within the living cosmos, in the presence of Yeshua Mashiach, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, in the power of the Paracletos, the Ruach HaKodesh, yeah, in the presence and the essence of Yod He Vav He. Love, light, and blessing has been Talaku the Great Owl. Just taking a moment, yeah, to remind you to overcome the prejudices that rejects the spirit of purpose and well-being. Fulfill your destiny so your children can be clothed, fed, and sheltered, and your family can be harmonized within the families of terra firma, within the families of life, to live and to love and to have our being once again within the living cosmos. ChurLife.com, Chur Life Television Network.